All right, I am joined now by Duluth Marshall Baseball head coach Joe Wicklund ahead of tomorrow's state title game. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Back to the title game, second year in a row. Is there anything that this group has kind of taken away from last year's that you guys are really trying to implement tomorrow and really focus on?
Yeah, and I think part of what is the change is last year was getting to play a game at Target Field, which happens to be the championship. And that's pretty exciting. I think this year it's the championship game that happens to be at Target Field. So I think it's a lot of the excitement and the kind of pomp, circumstance, and that comes with playing on our Major League Baseball park here in Minnesota disappears a little bit when you've done it once before. And with a huge group of seniors, they're focused on a lot more of winning 7 innings of baseball than, what all the other stuff that comes with being on a stage that big.
And has this group talked about that sense of redemption and that serving as motivation this time around?
Yeah, there's certainly like a kind of a double revenge factor. So one is, losing 8-4 last year on this field to Maple Lake when we felt like we had the depth to win a tournament like that. We were in a good position, and then the tournament just didn't break our way. And we certainly got outplayed by Maple Lake in that game. And then the second part on the redemption side is our one loss this year is to Minnehaha Academy. They beat us 5-4 early in the season, walked it off against us in a pretty dramatic fashion in a game that we told the players was a preview for what the state championship could look like, and we're exactly right back where we thought we might be against the team we thought we'd play.
So knowing what you already do know about this team, what do you think is the key to beating them? Is it going to be more of a pitcher's duel, or is it going to be explosive at-bats?
No, I think with Ben Peterson on the mound for us and almost for certain Brock Brumley on the mound for them, it'll be a low-scoring affair. I think the big part is if we play our game, I think that we're in the driver's seat against Minnehaha Academy. And our game is Ben throwing strikes, working late in the game, not running up against the pitch count, not walking batters, us picking up the ball, throwing it over to first base, and Cole Mako and catching all the balls in the outfield, just playing our top-notch defense, making the plays that we should make, as well as maybe a few exceptional plays, and then just having good at-bats. We don't need 5 runs if those other 2 pieces work out. We maybe only need 2 or 3. So if we can kind of string together a few key hits at a few key times, we'll be in the driver's seat. But if we're walking batters, if we throw it around a little bit, which is what we did the first time we played them, then all of a sudden we're kind of playing the Red Hawks game.
You just mentioned him a little bit, Ben Peterson. I mean, household name at this point. Everybody knows Ben Peterson.
Media darling.
Yes, yeah. He's incredible. But can you just talk about him a little bit and how great it's been to have someone with his versatility on your team? Not only is he your ace pitcher, but he's great at the plate, and then he also plays the corners. He plays first and third. It's really rare and so incredible.
Yeah, and I think it gets lost in the mix that he's got our team's highest batting average right now, and that he's rock solid defensively when we take him off the mound and stick him at third base. So all of a sudden there are these facets to Ben's game that people don't necessarily know, because the Baltimore Orioles and the University of Missouri want him to come in and do stuff from 60 and a half feet away from home plate. I mean, his job tomorrow is going to be to get us a W on the mound and get 21 outs. And if he executes on that, that's certainly what he's most well known for. But it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he's 2 for 4 with an RBI tomorrow, or if we called on him to sacrifice bunt to move in a runner for Tyler Johnson hitting behind him. We've got all of those pieces figured out. So there's kind of so much more to Ben's game than the part that everybody knows about. But the part that everybody knows about is pretty special. It's not every high school kid who throws a baseball 94 miles an hour and kind of hums around at 88 to 92 all the time and has devastating breaking stuff. So the other part to Ben's game is 21 outs tomorrow. It wouldn't be shocking for a pretty good chunk of those to be strikeouts.
Obviously, he's a huge part of this team, but from what I've seen all season, even last season as well, this really is a total team effort. You've got a lot of great guys out there. How great is that as a coach to be able to say that? It's literally everyone playing their part.
Yeah, and you made it perfectly clear, Mariah, in how you said it, which is everyone playing their part. Ben's got a unique role in what he's asked to do on the mound, but if he runs out of pitches or steam, we turn it over to Brett Benson, who pitches totally different than Ben, but gets outs his way, and we get ground balls to Pete Hansen and Maddox Baggs in the middle, and they make plays, and Maddox sets the table for Carter Sullivan and Peter and Ben and Tyler Johnson on the offensive side. Cole Mako gets lost in the mix as the big clutch hit he had to drive us to the state title game, but the best defensive first baseman I've seen in a long time in high school baseball over at first. And then a mix in the outfield of Alex Busick and right, Kevin Snyder in center, and Charlie Kleinschmidt, our lone junior starter in that mix, who do the job offensively and defensively. It literally takes each one of our guys, which is nice. And it takes a lot of pressure off. Nobody tomorrow needs to win the game for us, even Ben on the mound, because so many other players can step into those roles and be the person who drives in the RBI and gets it done. Carter Sullivan had the 2 RBI single, and Cole Mako knocked in the game winner the other day. It'll be totally different names that'll get it done for for us tomorrow potentially.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So with this group, very senior heavy, they experienced the heartbreak last year. So what would it mean to them to come away with the state title tomorrow?
And I think in some ways it is the culmination of all the work they've put in, some since 9th grade in a Marshall uniform, some since 7th grade in a Marshall uniform. So I think there's like that cherry on top, that, that huge celebration. But I also think to some of them too, that they know that it is the end of all of this time spent with some of their very best friends. So I think that there's tears no matter what after the game tomorrow, hopefully entirely of joy for the outcome of the game. And then it sets in that it's the last time we get to do it together. But I think that's the part I think as coaches we've talked about, that no matter the outcome, what we've done together is special and lasts for eternity if we work on it for our whole lives in terms of relationships. And that isn't going to be measured by the scoreboard tomorrow and the 7 innings we play. It will be a lot more fun to talk about this when we're old and these guys come visit me in the nursing home and we can talk about the state title, but 3 straight section titles, 3 straight state tournament appearances, 2 chances at the state title at Target Field. This has already been an incredibly special run that whether we win or lose tomorrow, that won't take it away from it, but a win would be pretty special.
I mean, you mentioned the future a little bit with the nursing home right there, but you're losing a lot of seniors. Does that make you fearful at all for next season, the future of Marshall baseball? Like, how is it looking?
No, it makes me really excited in a lot of ways. I think nobody anywhere in the state or in earshot of what we're talking about today has underestimated our team this year. A lot of people knew about us on the front end. What's exciting is that secretly we'll still be solid next year. It'll be a totally different group, and we won't have that top end Division I talent that we have with Ben Peterson and Peter Hansen and Maddox Baggs and kind of some of those household names that you mentioned. But there is a group that comes behind them that is quality players, puts in the time, has put in the efforts on practice, on JV games and summer baseball, that are kind of set to inherit something that they certainly appreciate the success level of and want to keep the culture intact, but know that they're going to have to work a little bit harder and aren't going to just turn around and go 25-1 and be playing at the state championship game next year. It'll be a different kind of set of expectations, but it's a group that wants to keep kind of that team culture certainly intact, and we'll work on that.
All right. Well, exciting stuff coming up tomorrow and the future of Marshall baseball. Like you just said, that's head coach Joe Wicklund ahead of tomorrow's Class 2A state title game against Minnehaha Academy at 1 p.m. at Target Field. We'll have updates coming to you right here from 92.1 The Fan, TwinPortSportsHub.com.